Well, hello everyone, and thanks for joining us here today on the Global Bike Fest. We are so excited for tonight's event. We've never done anything quite like this, so we really appreciate you tuning in to join us tonight. I'm Aileen Crotty. I am the founder and the festival director of Film by Bike. We are a film festival featuring the world's best bike movies, and we have been around for 18 years. We got our start in the early days of bike culture here in Portland, Oregon. Over the years, we've really grown and blossomed as a film festival. And now we're in about 50 to 60 cities throughout the world, all throughout the year, as a way to strengthen those bike communities and share the work of our global community of filmmakers. Now, tonight we have an incredible event planned for you. We've got a live performance by the musician Ben Weaver. We're digging into our archives to show you some of the world's best bike movies, some festival favorites from over the years, and all sorts of great films to give you a night to just sink in, relax, and watch some incredible movies. Also, later in the program, we're going to have a global hangout and chat, a chance to talk about the movies you've seen. This will be moderated by filmmaker Manny Marquez. Also, an opportunity for you to talk about what's on your mind, what the bike culture is like where you live, and what your thoughts and feelings are as we go through this process. Now, all in all, this program runs out for about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. We do have a chat window that you can pop in and let us know what you're thinking. We won't be able to necessarily attend to all the chat questions until we get to later on in the program, but we'd love to see you in the chat there. Let us know where you're from, where you're tuning in from. Now, if you have any technical problems along the way, if you go to the watch page that is embedded on our website, you will see at the bottom an FAQ. And on that FAQ, there are some commonly asked questions. Most of your technical issues will be resolved by consulting with the help via YouTube, as well as making sure you have a good, strong internet connection. So we wish you all the best as you tune in tonight. Now, as a film festival, we would not be here if it weren't for our amazing global community of filmmakers. They bring to the table some incredible work that we love to see, and they really allow us to do what we do. Now, originally, our festival was scheduled here in Portland. Our signature film festival weekend was scheduled for May at the Historic Hollywood Theater. A big shout out to our home, the Historic Hollywood Theater, who has been so supportive through all of this. Obviously, we've had to reschedule, and we're looking at most likely being in September. But in the meantime, we wanted to do something, and that's how we decided to come up with this incredible event. I want to give a big shout out to some of our filmmakers who are in this year's festival who are tuning in to join us tonight. Ernesto Durnan from Mexico City, great to have you here with us, as well as Mila Aslan joining us from Turkey. And we know we have some other filmmakers in the house as well. Great to have all of you tuning in with us tonight. It's great to see you guys chatting it up in the chat box and letting us know where you're from. We love hearing from you guys. I also want to give a big shout out to the Film by Bike Advisory Board. When we realized we needed to reschedule our signature festival weekend, they really stepped up to help us create some brainstorming and creative ideas, and that's what led to tonight's event. And I also want to give a big shout out to the Film by Bike team, which includes Mueller, our festival assistant, and Melina Kumis, our films manager. They have been so instrumental in making Film by Bike the great festival that it is. Now, I want to bring in our guest that we have joining us here tonight, coming to us from St. Paul, Minnesota. We've got musician, poet, and storyteller Ben Weaver. Ben, thanks so much for joining us here tonight. It's great to have you.
Having me.
And also sitting there at Dirty Fingers Bike Shop in Hood River, Oregon, we've got filmmaker Manny Marquez. Manny, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
How are you?
Great. Big thank you to Dirty Fingers Bike Shop for opening up their space to this event safely tonight. It's great to have Manny there. That's really a part of his bike culture community there in Hood River, Oregon. So Dirty Fingers, thanks for making this happen. Now, before we had to reschedule our festival, before the whole world turned upside down, we had never before considered an event like this. We are all about building community. That's a real core of what we do here at Film by Bike. And to us, the idea of building community meant hanging out in person. But the world's different now, and we've come to realize that there are other ways to build community. Also, a really neat way to connect with our global community. And that is why we have tonight's event, and we're excited to use this platform here on YouTube to connect with our audience. So Manny and Ben, it's great to have you guys here tonight. I just wanted to chat with you guys a little bit before we jump into Ben's performance, find out a little bit more about how you guys are doing, how you guys are feeling in this challenging time.
Ben, you want to go first?
You can go ahead.
Things are, in terms of cycling, things are a little tough in Hood River. They've closed all of our trails. Post Canyon's closed. National Forest is closed. We're pretty much relegated to road riding here, and riding on our trainers. So the road riding is all we got. Mountain biking's done here, which is a big bummer. Aileen, and Hood River is a big mountain biking town. Yeah. And even some of our gravel riding is gone because of all the county roads that are county forest lands are closed now too, as of yesterday. So that's a bummer here for cycling. Also on the other end, our community in terms of you've been to Dirty Fingers, the happy hour scene here. We get together and talk about bikes and movies and making movies and doing dumb things on our bikes. It's kind of done too. So thanks to this event, I'm allowed to sit here and have a beer, but that's about it. So kind of our community has slowed down a lot in terms of that. As a filmmaker, completely no work, shut down. But that's just part of, what are we going to make right now when there's people in their homes? So, I've been filming with my family at home every day, just little portraits of things they're doing, building puzzles and making breakfast and stuff. But that's about it. The film, even my friends in Hollywood, it's all kind of dried up. So I don't know. Right now it's about hunkering down and being with your family and just trying to stay as positive as you can in the bunker.
Yeah. In the bunker. Yep. Ben, how about for you? What are things like in St. Paul right now?
Well, yesterday it snowed, and today it was like 50, so the weather's been pretty interesting. That's always what people talk about here before anything else is the weather. But I don't know. I've been getting out with my kids a lot, and one of the things I've noticed is that because everything is shut down, we've been riding all these funny loading docks and industrial areas, and doing some pretty fun urban adventures in places that we can't usually ride because there's full of semi trucks, or people are just, the streets are busy and not safe to ride in with a 6 and a 14-year-old. But usually I'm in the woods exploring around the city and on the dirt around town, but we've been it's actually it's shoulder season here too, so everything is pretty wet and muddy in the woods. So we've been seeing a different side of the town than I'm usually used to. So it's been kind of fun, but I don't know. It definitely feels like there's a lot of people in different spaces in their heads and their hearts with what's going on, and you can feel that when you go outside. So I'm just kind of trying to be true to where I'm at.
Yeah, definitely. And Manny, in Hood River, are you guys seeing people riding in town? I know a lot of people have talked about the fact that there are fewer cars on the road, and they're seeing more people on bikes for some reason. That is just kind of where people are gravitating. Are you noticing a difference like that in Hood River?
Yeah, like I said, you got to keep it positive, right? Everyone's getting out on their bikes, and there's always a way to ride. You get out on the road when you can't mountain bike or you can't gravel ride. You get out on the road, and I see a lot. I could sit right here out the window and see probably 4 or 5 people ride by since we've been doing this. So people are still riding. And if you're familiar with Hood River, you can start in town and ride to the top of where the grocery store is and get 500 feet of climbing. So it's not ever boring in terms of what you're doing. We can ride a lot of little side roads and still get a good workout. So the cycling will not stop. The cycling will not stop. There are less cars. That's just a fact. People aren't going anywhere. I saw a meme on the Facebook. It said something like, is everyone else's car getting 3 weeks to the gallon, and I thought that was pretty funny, like, because that is true, like kind of what's happening here. We're not taking our kids to school and stuff, but we're still riding, and people are getting out and doing what they can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, folks, we've been chatting with Manny Marquez from Hood River, Oregon, who will be moderating our hangout and chat and talking about the films later in the program. We've also been talking with Ben Weaver, the musician, who will be on in just a couple minutes here. Before we jump into Ben's performance, I wanted to let you all know that we do have the chat window going, and you guys are welcome to add to the chat with your comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you have questions, we'll be addressing those later on in the program. So save your questions until the end. When we prompt you for questions, feel free to jump in with questions. If you ask questions earlier than that, we may not be able to get to them, but we are watching that chat window and we want to see where you're from. We want to hear from you. I also see some of you chatting with each other, and that is so nice to see. So keep that chat window going. It's there off to the side. If you're watching on our web page, you will see it down below the video, and it's also right there on our YouTube. If you are watching in full screen mode, the chat window may not be showing up, so you may need to reduce that to see the chat window. Now, when we first put this event together, the first thought we had was show movies, and we knew we wanted to do more than just show movies. And my first thought was to invite in the musician Ben Weaver, because we showed a film featuring Ben last year. So Ben, it was so great to show music for free at the Film by Bike Festival last year. This is a story of Ben jumping on his bike with his guitars and riding the Great Divide mountain bike trail. I don't know if those of you who are familiar with it, you know the magnitude of that. This is a rugged trail. It is not an easy route to ride just with your bike alone, let alone to bring some instruments. He brought a filmmaker, Keenan DePlonk, along the way, and they produced a beautiful film documenting this journey, which is currently available on Outside Magazine's website. Yeah, that's great. So Ben, we are having a little bit of difficulty with your audio at times. We can still see you. The video looks great, but it could be your connection. It sounds like you're dropping it in and out a little bit there. And Manny, just so you know, if this does continue, we may drop your call during Ben's performance just to make sure we've got good bandwidth here. Because we're not sure what's going on with that. But these things can be challenging, especially with so many people tuning in, or calling in, though we did test this and everything sounded great yesterday. But, that's how these things go. Well, I think what we should do is, without further ado, we should just jump right into Ben's performance. Ben's going to be giving us a live performance here on the Global Bike Fest. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And Ben, I'm going to pass things over to you.
Okay, great. I'll sing a song, and then you tell me how the audio was and see if we need to do anything different.
Okay, sounds great.
This is a new song that I've been working on called The Other Side of the Dream. I actually don't remember what it's called, but anyway. I'm just, to all those of you that are listening, this is the weirdest thing I've ever done. It's bared out by the I woke up, you gone. Bird in the window, mud in the yard, but I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. At the tip of my tongue, there the wind. Our wildness overlapping like wings on feathers. Should I push my eyes down into my heart? Herds of animals drop from the clouds, but I couldn't tell which I was on. With a wink and a nod to the formless realm, I walked in at the place where the story folds back on itself, and tried to find some way to grieve, stitching ravens to my feet from where they clawed the trees. This time my feathers were real, and along came a bear with a cedar bough on their back, the person no longer separate from the pack. But even though it all looks green, yellows, oranges, and reds are always there in the leaf. This time I'm holding the door for the wind and the lightning running out ahead of the storm. I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. Gravity and grace, that's how the pea shoot unfolds. Every step I take is a prayer to the unknown. In the same way that bright ashes rise, blinking memories of light into the dark night. My heart sits river kids from blood so they can fill their own shapes. Just when the fire went out, the end jumped right back into the beginning's mouth, and I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. I couldn't tell. Maybe it's an Appaloosa. The rain grew cold on my arms. Across the Rocky Mountains, everything that lives is warm. The eldest of the elders read our fortune. The fire flickered in the skillet grease. If we listen to what the land is saying, it'll tell us what it needs. And patterns from a bark beetle and the timber that built our house. Walking home through the bellflower and blue stem, mission stars on their way down. They found her in the arms of a butcher. Horizon split the prairies apart, and there, the wall of our burden, like fireflies let out of a jar. And I've seen dogs going crazy. I slept down there by the train. Everything I own, it fits in a matchbox, and everything else I gave away. Well, I know where I'm going, not sure which road I'll take. I'm sitting in the kitchen playing my banjo. On the right side of the rain. On the right side of the rain. On the right side, right side. Day after day we ran. You're always the wind at my back. The mountains all around us. I sound to the snowback. It takes a buffalo to see a bluebird. Counting cattle through a boxcar door. She cut my hair with a broken bottle. Wove the ends in the braid of her own. And I've seen dogs going crazy, left down. Everything I own, it fits in a matchbox. Everything else gave away. And I know where I'm going, not sure which road I'll take. I'm sitting in the kitchen playing my banjo. On the right side of the rain. On the right side of the rain. On the right side.
So Ben, it's been great having you here on the program today. And one of the things that really strikes me about the great work that you do is that, you know, when you were on the Great Divide Mountain Bike Trail and you were headed down through these small towns and playing music along the way, even right there alongside the trail, your ability to connect with the audience is so powerful. Tell us a little bit more about how you've grown as a musician and what it is about playing music that inspires you to connect so much with your audience.
Haley, can you hear? Can you hear me? No one can hear you. Your audio is not coming through.
Is it coming through now? It should be coming through now. It looks good on my end.
Now they can. Now they can.
Yeah,
We're back.
Okay. Yeah, we're back. Okay. So sorry, Ben, go ahead. Let us know more about, you as a musician connecting with your audience. I love watching you perform, especially when there's a crowd around you. Obviously, these are different times, but it's really evident that your audience is connecting with you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird talking to a screen. Because connection is such a huge part of what I do and how I feel in the world. But I think my whole life, I just decided a long, long time ago that I wasn't ever going to try to follow any other narrative but my own. But I made some trips along the way, trying to be in the music industry in the way that I used to be, and then I finally just had the foresight and the clarity, I guess, to see that really wasn't making me happy, and started riding my bike. That was what made me happy. And I think anytime that anyone follows their intuition or their heart, then you just immediately end up connecting with people. Because I think we can sense that in each other when someone is doing what they're supposed to do or is acting from, a grounded and side of them, then it's just, so I don't know. I also ask a lot of questions, which helps. It helps connect. I'm pretty curious. So,
yeah. Well, one more question before we let you go, and I'd love to have you stick around forever, but it's just because of the audio. Though we will be bringing Ben back at the end of the program when we have our global hangout and chat. But before we let you go, I just want to hear, obviously we're in a challenging time right now, but all of that aside, you've had quite an exciting last couple of years. What's next for you? What are you looking forward to?
Well, it's really ironic, honestly, because 2 or 3 months ago, I had started working on a new project called Edgelands, which was going to really focus on talking about the idea of wildness, and which I talk about in music for free, but about how we don't have to go so far away from home to find that. And I think there's a real, now it's getting dispelled right in front of our faces every day, but there, for a long time, there's been this idea that you have to go really far away to find adventure, to find transformation, and I just don't think that's true. I think that there's all kinds of wildness and magic in the clump of trees at the end of your block. So I have this project that I'm working on that's going to start doing a lot of storytelling around that concept. But right now, I'm just taking this time as a real gift to go inward and listen, and just move at a different pace and see what happens. So I'm not quite sure how that project is going to be impacted or going to be modified based on what's happening right now, but whatever reveals itself, I'm thankful for.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us this evening and sharing your music with us. And we look forward to having you back at the end of the program as we move into the global hangout and chat. So thanks so much. You're welcome to end your Skype call, and we'll bring you back later on in the program. Thank you. So folks, this is the Global Bike Fest here, hosted by the Film by Bike Film Festival, and we are so excited to be doing this here tonight. As we mentioned earlier on, we are a film festival that's all about connecting with people and being in person and building community. We never before considered doing anything quite like this, but these are challenging times and these are different times, and this is a time for innovation, and we wanted to move fast. And we put this event together in just under 2 weeks. And we're so excited. As soon as Ben said he would join us as the musician, we knew it was go time and we were ready to get started. And then as soon as filmmaker Manny Marquez offered to join us as the moderator, we knew that we were in good company. Manny Marquez is based in Hood River. And Manny, if you're out there, you can turn your video back on and we'll get you back on the call. We love seeing everything that's going on out there in the chat window. There's so many of you guys out there tuning in. It's like seeing the conversations that you guys are having and seeing the way you guys are all connecting is so great. So man, if you want to call right back, we'll get you in here. I'll see if I can pull you up here. I think I can do that as well. And you can there we go. Back on and we'll get you back on the call. We love seeing everything that's going on. All right, Manny, thanks so much for joining us back here.
I think I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. Great. Thanks everyone for hanging in there with us. Obviously, these are challenging times in the world and the internet is really overloaded with lots of traffic and activity. So that resulted in some challenges there with Ben's performance. But I think you guys all saw the link. Hey, I'm going to pop in here to the chat right now. Add it again. You just can't get enough of that link for Ben Weaver's website. He's got great music on his website. Also, again, the incredible film Music for Free. It was a stunning film. It was one of the best that we showed last year at Film by Bike. It is available for free right now on Outside Magazine. So great opportunity to watch that film, which was co-produced with Keenan DePlanck out of Colorado. A beautiful story of Ben's journey and they make it look a little easy. There is no way that was an easy journey going down the Great Divide Mountain Bike Trail. So I encourage you guys, that is some great entertainment for you guys to watch along the way. But we here are now going to show you some other movies from the Film by Bike archives. Manny, I'm so glad you're joining me for this portion of the show.
Yeah, no problem. I think this is important. It's, you mean Film by Bike, it's time to show movies, right?
Yes, Film by Bike, it's time to show movies. So I'm just going to say a couple quick things. One, again, I can't thank enough our global community of filmmakers for providing such great work and talent that you send into the festival every year. Our deadline every year is January 20th. We've got the Film by Bike Film Festival signature weekend in Portland coming up most likely in September. And every year we're looking for new movies and we dig deep. We like to program by our values, and that means putting on the stage at the event and on the screen the stories of people who are often left out of the conversation and giving them the opportunity, offering positions of prominence, celebration, and power to folks who are often left out of the conversation. So we work really hard to bring a diverse collection of movies together. And tonight we wanted to bring you a collection of movies that we thought kind of touched upon different interests. And so a variety of people would enjoy them. We wanted to highlight some of our festival favorites and award winners from over the years. So I'm going to turn things over to you, Manny, and let you say a few words to get things started and then let you jump into the movies and I'll be queuing them up on my end.
All right, so I don't want to talk too much. And if you guys, I am watching the live chat. If you want to know about the filmmakers prior, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Aileen's given me the information here about the films and the filmmakers. So I'm not going to talk too much. If you say, hey, just play the films, we will. If you want to know in between the films about the filmmakers, then I'll tell you about the filmmakers. But since I don't know what you want, I'm going to talk about the first film is Flashes of the Altea by Joey Schulzer. He's from Boulder, Colorado. And this film is him and some buddies went to Mongolia to do a bike trip and then self-supported rafting trip as well. I have seen this film. I haven't seen all the films. I kind of make a point not to watch films before I can see them in a festival. If I haven't seen it at the festival, I haven't seen it. So tonight will be the first time I've seen some of these films. This film I haven't seen. So we're going to play it. If you don't want me to talk between the films and you just want to see films, let us know in the comments, and then we'll just play the films. All right? So, Aileen, I think we're ready to play the first film.
So we leave for Mongolia in 2 days, and this is the first time the pack rafts have been in the water with the bikes. So, pretty standard protocol for a trip across the world. Woo! You! touched down in Olgi.
This dude's rad.
Back at home, we decided a great way to save on space would be to not bring sleeping pads. Definitely paid for that decision last night. It was freezing and we all got hypothermic and now we're trying to warm up.
Transition complete. Transformers have transformed from boats to bikes. It's crazy.
Puked up everything in my stomach last night. It's so cold. Oh no. Could make for a cold day on the river.
Dude, it's gone. It's his now. Touches the lung.
All right, Manny, you're on.
All right, guys. So we were looking at some of your comments, and it sounds like you want a little explanation of the films. That film was awesome. I love that film. The next movie, because I think we should just kind of keep moving through them, and then we can chat afterwards if you want, is Velo Visionaries. And this is and I'm sorry for getting the names wrong, directed by Christian Tiesch from San Francisco. It looks like she's an educator, and she's involved in the culture. You know, with everything exploding there and radical changes happening, tech workers, big money coming in, they're kind of going back to, can we take a library on the streets on a bike? And Bella Visionaries is a series, so this is episode 3 of that series. So I hope you enjoy. And again, make your notes. We can talk at the end. I just want to give a quick breakdown, and then I can talk to Aileen. Maybe we could put some of these things on the Film by Bike site or the Facebook for you to read further into these filmmakers. But I feel like we should keep moving with the films. So enjoy the next film.
There's a saying, beginner's mind. It all involves silence and opening your mind and your senses to things. I feel most that way when I'm by the ocean. You don't know what that wave break is going to look like. It's always beginner's mind. It's always a new thing. I become a lot more aware of just being, of the energy that's inside me and how that is shared with what's outside of me. And I'm talking like the sun and the moon and the stars and all of that. We're all connected and everything is connected. I'm a girl that was born and raised in Hawaii. So when I'm looking at the ocean here, I think of the ocean back home and how it's just all related. We're all swimming in this ocean wherever we are. And so when I think about like how my mind works, it has a lot to do with the ocean and how that connects us and how it keeps moving. There's a lot of information being shared so rapidly now, like so quickly, that we don't even give ourselves the time to really stop and think like, but what does this all mean? We're not tapping into like the deeper knowledge that we have, or we're not giving enough time to ourselves and to our brains to develop that anymore. We have to figure out as humans, like, how are we gonna navigate this mindfully? I'm the librarian and digital literacy instructor at Demiriac Academy. We serve 120 students that mostly live in the Tenderloin and neighboring communities. I love when I get to just sit and read with a kid. Books are magical. You open it and it's like a whole other world. So it's nice to inspire that in children and to get them excited about books. Books are still very relevant. I believe they always will be. Reading is power. When I was little, my dad, he read books to me. That's a very clear memory I have, and I'm very grateful that I have that kind of memory with my father. He would always force me to read the newspaper aloud to him. And it wasn't until later that I realized why he felt it was so important for me to read. It's because he had a hard time reading. It was really important that I didn't have to struggle like he did. And so reading actually became like my magical power as a child. As a librarian, I kind of find it my responsibility to connect people to people and people to ideas. Bibliobicicleta. Started off as a drawing, lots of drawings, lots of sketches of what would the rolling library look like. It became this like imaginary thing we kept talking about. One day, I just got tired of talking about it. Luckily, books and libraries are things that everyone likes, and people love bicycles, and so you put it together, and that's how Bibliobicicleta came to be, and just keeps evolving. The shelves are different heights because the kids come to the short shelves. You put the more adult things at the top. Librarians always think about where's the eye level of the kids, what's the eye level of the adults. How do I strategically place these books? Free books. I think it's really beautiful that you find bibliobicicleta in the open air. And it's free. And so I believe in the access as far as what the books bring and the knowledge that opens up. I also get a kick out of seeing neighbors interact with each other and exchanging knowledge that way, because that's learning too. So it's like a person is a book too if you just get to know them and read them. You always learn something new when you open a book. We get to know ourselves a little bit better, and we get to see the world through other people's perspectives as well. Once you read stories that are like yours, that's really empowering. You know, when you recognize yourself in a book, or you read about the past of your people. The interesting thing about indigenous knowledge systems is that they didn't come from a book. Knowledge was passed down orally. Mayan perspectives, or even Native Hawaiians, reading their songs or hearing them, everything reflected the world, like much bigger than we are as humans. There was a bigger awareness of the sun and how we should be grateful for it every day, and we don't know if it's gonna rise tomorrow. There was a bigger focus on maintaining that balance. We take from the earth, but we give back to it and we respect it, because without it, there's no us. When I talk about Mayans and Aztecs, they valued things like the wind coming through their ears as knowledge passing through their minds. They would file their teeth down to make their language sound like the wind. And that's why I like riding bikes too, because you hear the wind, you hear things you wouldn't hear otherwise. It's hard to figure out how to wake ourselves up to that. Even I am guilty as a human being of just sometimes not even thinking about, hey, the sun came up today, or the fact that it rained today. You start to think of, why was it not raining, and what are we doing that is causing that? Knowledge is so beautiful. It's so beautiful and it's so powerful. Once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. So there's no more living in ignorance and in that bliss. It's once you know something, you then have the responsibility to continue knowing it, and you can't ignore it. You have to act on it because you know what's true. We should never, never, ever take knowledge for granted. We should always be seeking it. If we're not seeking it, what makes you human then?
All right, so we're back. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's a pretty cool film. I hear a lot of you from the comments want to start your own libraries now on a bike, which is awesome. Hey, for a second, this film that we're about to show, this is the one that I warned everyone about. If you want your money back, it's actually a film I made, so I'm sorry, Aileen. The Dirty Sellwood is an event that Mitchell Buck here at Dirty Fingers, where we're at, and Sellwood Cycles in Portland host every year. It's a 100-mile ride that's pretty epic, probably usually around 10,000 feet of climbing. This is a film I made in 2015 about that event, and I hope you enjoy it. I just want to mention a few things first, because this is my film. Personally, I want to send out a little bit of love to Thunder Island Brewing, who has made this amazing beer, Pet Rock and the Moon Boot, which I'm drinking right now at the bar, and also Lazzaretti in Rome, because I have so many friends in Rome that are suffering from the COVID-19 that I spend a lot of time in Rome because I film there a lot. I make a lot of films with Catholic filmmakers, and it's a really cool shop. It's from 1916. It's the oldest bike shop in the world, I think. So sending love to our friends in Europe and in Rome, sending love to Thunder Island Brewing and to Dirty Fingers. And Sellwood Cycles. So let's watch the film, and I hope you enjoy. How did you get into cycling?
Oh, shit. Dirty Fingers was born of pure hatred. I got into the bike industry at a job I hated, and I told the guy I was working for, I'm gonna try my own thing here. I got thrown out immediately, and the last thing he yelled at me is, you're never gonna make it. This is the current and almost final rider list. So these people are going to hurt tomorrow. Suckers! That's right. Why do you do stuff like
I don't
this?
know. I don't know.
Fred, you're in too. There's no backing out now. There it is. One of the reasons that I really like cycling is I'm not really good at it, so it doesn't get boring. This guy's like, come on, take you mountain biking. And I almost died, which so many of my bike stories end with an I almost died.
Fashion requirement for the after party tomorrow night.
You gonna wear those?
Well, of course I'm gonna wear these. Why else would I have them?
I remember 10 or 15 years ago when it was so much easier to be truly friendly and partner up with another bike shop to do something. But when we went to DF, I'm like, all right, guys, I gotta warn you, when you walk into this bike shop, you're gonna fall in love and you're not gonna wanna leave.
Tonkin walks into the shop. He's like, we're similar shops, we should do a ride together. And I'm like, yep, that is an awesome idea. The third annual Dirty Selwood's going on. This is registration central.
Oh my gosh, okay. Big day at the finger.
The Dirty Selwood is simply two like-minded shops coming together to do what they love to do best.
I'm excited. I'm totally excited.
For me, it's my favorite day of the year now.
Just going
That's
down.
a lot of
You're
gravel.
just going down.
Starting out with donuts. That usually works.
Shit's about to get real. Real painful.
Hey everybody, welcome to the third annual Dirty Selwood.
My name's Heather. My spirit animal is a unicorn.
Too late if I'm not ready, right?
I've never done peyote, but I know that my spirit animal is a unicorn.
Once again, two like-minded shops do what they do best. Ride our faces off all day with our friends.
Definitely gonna be the hardest century I've ever done.
I call it chasing Schrankel.
I don't know if that's gonna be happening today. I'm feeling a little fluffy.
Yeah, you just find me afterwards, see if I'm still smiling.
We had Father Saul come down to do a little blessing for this. So, ladies and gentlemen, Father Saul.
I'm going to start with my dirty finger just to make the sign of the cross in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Do you not know that the runners in the stadium all run in the race, but only one wins the prize? They do it to win a perishable crown, but we are an imperishable one. Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless these people and send your angels to be with them on the road. Bring them safe back to this place. May God bless you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. May God bless you.
One of the best things about biking is getting on your bike and just going out there and going for a long time. We had exhausted the idea of riding from shop to shop, so it was time to do something new. It's definitely going to be 100 miles plus. It's what I call mixed surface, gravel, pavement, something in between. Then we're going to keep rolling out east side. We're going to cross Highway 35. We're going to go up Massey Grade out of Odell there. Really cool little climb. Then we will cross 35 again and go up the dreaded Booth Hill. Booth Hill sucks, but it's really beautiful. We're going up that and beyond. One of the awesome rides to do is to ride all the way up and all the way around Mount Hood and all the way back to the shop.
After that, we're gonna continue climbing up Neal Creek.
Oh, this is just too fun. I know. I think it's too easy.
Of course, takes people through 4 short but very steep, very nasty climbs.
Just grab onto the back of that.
But again, all of those efforts get you to a really good place. So that series of very steep climbs gets you into Pinemont
We
Road.
hit Pinemont Road, and then we're gonna climb forever. Kind of goes back and forth in there, but it's about 5 overall miles of gravel.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
It gets high up on top of the ridge above the highway, and it's just a beautiful road. I saw everybody smiling, everybody having a good time, so I would call that the high point of my day. At that point, we're all dry, warm, and happy.
Finally, we will get to the 44, where we get to actually do some downhilling.
But the reality of the matter is, if you're going to go around Mount Hood, it means you're going to go up high in altitude. And that's where sometimes things can go wrong. Sheets of cold, cold, wet rain. By the time we got up to Bennett Pass, where our aid station was, me and everybody I was with was in pretty bad shape.
The weather's kind of got me down. It's
Perfect Oregon weather for sure. I'll be glad when it's over.
Rode off, but we didn't ride very far. We rode about 100 yards, and I said, man, there's going to be a bunch of people in trouble. Maybe we should just start picking people up.
We go trying to get them out of this scenario. So it's not what we want to do. But
I'm like, dude.
the safe thing to do.
Yeah.
We're not picking up
So you can
Heather
see all
though.
the
We just started driving down the highway, and we're all packing into the van.
There was a little bit of suffering involved in this, brother.
Jesus,
You want to give up?
And we got waved off by a few. It was pretty badass. I'd say there were a good 15 to 20 riders that made the descent.
But literally, we had people with like purple and blue lips. Crazy.
So this is a symptom of hypothermia, I believe, right?
Shaking.
The way the course worked out, Zigzag Cafe is a perfect place to stop, great place to get food, and really freaking awesome cobbler.
Some cobbler, some coffee. It's going to be very good.
Cold and wet, rain jacket in my van, back in Hood River. Useless. Might have been a haiku, a shivering haiku.
That was a pretty amazing room to be in, the caliber of really great cyclists. You know, people who ride a lot, people who ride hard, and to see the number of those people saying no moss.
Kelly's in, so Kelly made it back. Update is now we have 5 rigs coming. We're gonna just take everybody back and go party our faces off and live to fight another day.
I think I'm gonna call it. I'm a mountain biker, dude. I'm not ready for this shit.
Stop pressure. Fire!
This whole time, there was a few people in the crowd who had a look in their eye.
It takes a lot for me to quit. We're going back out.
Really?
Yeah, it'll be fine. Are you worried?
Yes, I am.
How many people are you doing it?
4.
Okay, we're rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm following you.
Clear Cell is not for everybody. It's definitely for the passionate rider. You definitely got to be equipped for a long day on the bike. It is just a total celebration of bike riding and bike people and just what we all love to do best.
What motivated you guys to keep going?
Mitchell said we shouldn't. We're part of the cycling 1%.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I'm really proud of with this, is in the fact that we kind of helped create this team fun culture while still showing up and giving it your best effort. So I guess now you can either thank us or punch us in the face for that, because it's pretty out of hand around here. But
At the end of the day, they did it. They finished it. I don't view any bike ride as a failure.
It was beautiful.
We will not be deterred. We will not be stopped.
Like, how are you even smiling? You didn't think I was gonna smile at the end.
We live to ride another day. We're gonna do this again.
You're looking at it, man. I'm just glad everybody's alive.
I proudly wear my DF kit, and Mitchell wears his S&M kits, so.
Love the dirty Selwood, man.
Mimi, don't worry. Mimi Torres, you'll ride your bike again. Come ride with us in Hood River. We'd love to have you out here. Thank you for watching that film. Now we're moving on to the next thing. BMX. How many of you guys like BMX? That is such a cool thing. My kid always asks me what BMX means. It means bicycle motocross, which is an awesome thing. This film, which makes it even awesomer, is that a word? By Nick Rowley, takes place in London, UK, where they have a, wait, I need to drink my beer. They found an empty lot that wasn't being used, that they put a BMX track in. So let's watch this next movie, Katera Peckham BMX.
Last year I was national #1, second in the regionals, and world #2, so I was the second fastest girl in the whole of the world. I first started BMX when I was about 7. When I first saw the BMX track in Peckham, it just looked different to what I see every day. And that was fun, like travelling in a minibus with all my BMX teammates, going away to France, and I get to miss like school sometimes, so I thought that was like fun as well.
Let's get on with this training, guys. Let's do a third straight. Let's keep this going. Let me see what's going on with you guys. Heard a lot. Let's see what you're about.
I had to sacrifice quite a lot of things, and I would train so hard, and I think this is why I'm at this stage now. I think it's just like a way to distract yourself from trouble, or like just distract yourself from other things. I think it's really good to come together as a community, and you can ride about and meet new people and just enjoy yourself. We're like basically a family, so when we come together, people are like, oh gosh, look at them, like, I'm like a squad, like a Power Ranger squad. I get an adrenaline rush when I'm like on the gate. I just get like zoned out, and then just look around and just be like, okay, yeah, I can do this, and then just breathe. But again, I have to manage my breathing on the gate, but I will get a good start. So I have to just breathe and then hold my breath for like a couple of seconds. When the gate goes down, that's when everything like just kicks in, and I'll just start like, I don't even know what happens during the race. Like I don't think, I'll just go.
Go quick.
I've been through a lot in this BMX club, so I've met lots of new people, I've learned a lot of different things. It's taught me a lot of things in life as well. It has taught me a lot. Just knowing I could be like Trey White and Quillen Isidore, who are world champions, and if I keep training as hard as they did, I will get to that stage. Maybe in 4 years, if I'm still doing good, I want to go to Tokyo for the next Olympics and race and win.
I hope you guys like that BMX film. We have another BMX film, Burrito Lightning Bolt from Benedict Campbell, which also comes out of Oxfordshire, Great Britain. I probably said that wrong. Oxfordshire, sorry. This is a good film about two great friends that ended up living together and hanging out. This is a film that Aileen says that the audience went wild for when it first played at Film by Bike. So maybe you guys will go wild for it too. And now, Pete Kuntz, I do have a full beard. So don't worry about me. I'm okay.
You have 26 new messages. Message 1. Hello Benedict, my name's Jordan McGarry. I'm calling from Vimeo in New York. I'm sorry for calling you quite late. Message 2. Hello, this is Frederick Claiborne. Deleted. Message 3. Benedict, hi, my name is... Deleted. Message 4. Hey, hello, Benedict. Deleted. Message 5.
Hey Ben, it's Autumn. I was just thinking when you come to Austin this spring, I have some badass girls I want to introduce you to. I think it might make for a cool project. Give me a ring back, let me know what you think. Talk to you later. Bye.
I got a kind of a later start than most people than you would think. I didn't start riding till I was about 19, 20. And yeah, I think it was just the first time I actually like got on a BMX bike and took a spin across the street. I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this sooner? When I first started riding, I thought my guy friends just were saying that they never saw other girls riding freestyle. So I've just kind of was like, they're full of it. They just don't want me riding. I'm pretty sure there's got to be some chick rippers in Europe or something. And then as I started to meet more girls, I was like, whoa, there really are far and few between, but it kind of worked for me. I feel like people accepted that I was a girl and trying to ride just like they were, and once they saw like I was so passionate and stoked all the time on just trying to ride, that they realized I was there to do that. They're like, I guess I got their respect and kind of won them over as far as getting them stoked on helping me. So that was pretty cool. And then with the motorcycles, I mean, I knew it was gonna be fun and a new adventure, but getting to ride with another girlfriend or two, now that we have a bunch of girls here that ride, and with our bikes on the back, just cruising around town, even without our bikes, we're a spectacle. I didn't even realize it. I don't know, it's just really funny. You get all walks of life jump out to see you like you're some sort of like exotic unicorn rolling through town.
My eyes are deceiving me.
What you see is real.
That's my friend Danielle Windhausen, if you want to be formal. Also goes by Danny FBM or Danny Lightning Bolt. Yeah, I had heard about Danny from some friends that ride with her back in New York, and they were telling me, they're like, man, you gotta meet our girl, she's getting really good. And sure enough, ever since I've been riding, I've been trying to get people together, especially the girls. They're always far and few between, but the more we bring them together and have jams and like women's weekend type events, the more girls get out and more girls see each other, and then more girls get into it. So anyway, I got to meet Danny at one of these girl jams, if you will. A couple years later, she's moving into my house in Austin. I left Cleveland just to keep riding more, and so did she.
I had known who she was pretty much since I started riding BMX, because she was one of the first female pro BMXers. Everybody knew who she was, everybody told me about her. I googled her a lot, watched videos, looked at pictures. She's just always been a huge inspiration to me, and I met her shortly after I started riding, and she came up to me and was like, hey, are you Danny? And I was like, yes. holy shit, it's Nina B. You know who I am. This is crazy. And we took some laps together and have been friends ever since. I pretty much was going straight instead of I was going too much with the ramp instead of at it.
Yeah, well, I was thinking if you hit it wide instead of trying to rip it, because then this way you can, it's pretty tight once you land, you're going to be right into a turn. But it's cool because you just surf, like Logan does. I think sometimes, just seeing someone else do something, not that you don't have your own creative thoughts, but it really shows you what's possible, and then you can kind of take it from there and just spin off of that. And that's what kind of gave me the bug and desire to want to pursue BMX, because you really can go anywhere with it, and you keep meeting more people at every event, and or even making your own events. I started doing that. I'm trying to get more girls together, and I've made some of my best friends just from trying to bring people together. And now the motorcycle world is a whole other world that parallels BMX in a way. It's just other people trying to get together because they all have a common bond.
Your mind is becoming quite blank. You feel that, don't you? Quite blank.
Yes.
So when I said Danny was moving into my place, it was December and freezing rain, totally rare weather for Austin, and I went out to the U-Haul trailer to help her unpack, thinking it'd be a pile of clothes, and all she had in there, besides maybe one trash bag worth of clothes, was a motorcycle. She had an old Honda CB350. Oh my God, wait a minute, you have a motorcycle? I don't have a motorcycle. We're adults, we can buy our own. It just never dawned on me that whoa, yeah, these are sweet. Ever since then, I was I gotta get one. I went for one ride on the back of hers in the rain, and I was all right, this is cool, but I want to ride one. So, and the rest is history.
Hey, Fred! Did you see what I see? Yes, it's nothing.
We get consumed by our daily grind so much, it's a nice escape to be on two wheels.
Whether it's my BMX bike or my motorcycle, it's just a feeling of freedom and happiness, and you just, feel like a kid.
The wind in your hair, everything you see is a lot different, on the road.
It's just nice to just be out there and just really feel everything around you. Being on a bike to being on a motorcycle, it's the same kind of feeling. You can, carve around, you can get on the throttle, you can, I don't know. It just feels like it's playtime.
Oh, there's something much more important than just making money.
You're wrong, woman. Too late for the both of you.
Whether you're a girl that, doesn't think you can do something because you're a girl or for whatever reason, a mom or a grandpa, I don't know, anyone, I just want people to know that they can get out there and make it happen, and that there's nothing holding you back.
I want more girls that see this to recognize that this is possible. They can do it too. Don't hold back. I mean, yeah, it could be scary. You feel vulnerable maybe just being the only girl, but in the end, when you're actually riding, you're not thinking about the fact that you're a girl. You're thinking, oh my gosh, I just did something that I was scared of, and it's so rewarding. It's helps you build confidence and helps you meet people. I've made some of the best friends just from riding, and I really hope someone else that maybe sees this will get bit by the bug to follow their passion. So
Plus, I guess it's just everything's better on two wheels.
Don't grow up.
Don't limit yourself to what you think you should be doing or what you think other people want you to do, or just don't limit yourself at all. Just literally you can do anything in the world that you want to do. You can make it happen.
I think now's the time. Get off your asses and get out there, man. Like, I feel like this is what keeps you young, is to keep doing this and
Ride BMX or ride motorcycles or do anything in the world that they could even dream of that might make them happy that they should do it, that they can do it, and it will change your life, and that you should never stop living the dream.
Ah, yes. How very interesting.
As Evel Knievel would say, nothing's impossible.
I need some coffee.
Skip the coffee, Fred. What can it be?
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that. So the next film is Tracks of Planai by Tina Logler, and she's from Slovenia. This is a great film that Film by Bike has a relationship with that country. When Tina came up to receive the award, she cried because it's only a 1-minute film, but it's a really big, important thing for her. And it played at the Film Festival 2016. And we want you to see it. It's only 1 minute, so pay attention.
There's a ghost, she's wearing my face. At parties being introduced with my name. Just a skeleton of bones, wearing nothing but clothes, and she is paralyzing. The human soul is a treacherous place. Beneath the mask we wear, a dark and twisted labyrinth laid. Secrets locked in closets closed, never surface while we keep composed. Come out of hiding.
I hope you had time to finish your beer during that film. 1 minute. The next film is King of the Mountain by Orlando I have to say, I'm sorry, Orlando Eisendel from London. Again, we have a lot of London, Great Britain filmmakers here tonight, and that's awesome because there's a lot of cycling there. I spent a lot of time there in my youth following bands around and filming a lot of bands, which was awesome. That's kind of how I got my start as a filmmaker, filming bands in London, actually. The next film is about the Rwandan national team, and one of my early cycling stories is moving to Hood River and seeing the Rwandan team riding the what was the race, Andrew? Mount Hood Cycling Classic. I was in my office, and then the Rwandan team was here, which was awesome. So the next film is a film about those guys, and that's an awesome team. So let's roll the film.
Izina ryanjye ni Samuel nkunda igare. Ndabyibagirwa byose nkashira igare. Kwikuramo ubwoba ugiye utekereza ibindi noneho hahandi hamanuka mu makobo. Ndabikunda cyane ariko cyane cyane.
uragwa mu gihe akaboko iyo inshuro atangaye
inshuro utabara nijoro abanyarwanda hari ingaruka byasigiye abantu kuko buno abiciye abandi kera nyine numvishe ko habagaho ivanguramoko jenoside yabaye muri 1994 mu gihe cy'imvura mama yashatse umugabo babyarana abana babiri barabica n'umugabo we
bagufasha muri byose ipine zaturika ngufashe
iwacu turi abana batanu ntabwo turi abakire mu rugo ntabwo bifashije uko bikwiriye ngiye nshaka kuzabahindurira ubuzima nta na kimwe babuze bitewe n'ibyo nanjye nzagenda ngeraho mbega nagiye ku muhanda mbonye ukuntu abaturage baba bahagaze bafana abanyarwanda nanjye mpita numva nshaka kuzagenda nkaba umunyonzi gutyo mama akabimfashamo akanshakira amafaranga ya buri kwezi njye numvaga nindamuka ndigiyemo nkarinyonga nkaba icyamamare nzigisha barumuna banjye nkafasha na mama nkamwubakira nkamuha icyo ashaka cyose kuko nawe yaransunitse kugira ngere ku cyo ndi cyo kano kanya umunsi nabonye abanyonzi baciyeho nibwo nahinduye ubuzima bwanjye gukora imyitozo buri munsi nanjye ni umwe mu banyonzi. Ndafite icyizere cy'ejo hazaza. Ariko ni ngombwa twese hamwe dukorere hamwe ngo duhindure igihugu cyacu. Jenoside yabaye iba nk'inkovu kubera bagera aho ngaho bakanayibuka bitewe n'ibyo babonye. Never again. Njyewe ku bwanjye ibyo bya kera ntago bakivuga abahutu, abatutsi n'abatwa. Nanjye bitewe n'ukuntu bibukaga nagendaga amenyamo bike bike. Dufatanyije nk'ikipe y'abanyonzi twafatanya neza nk'igihugu cyose.
All right, guys. Hey, my glass is empty. One more film. We are socially distancing here. That's Mitchell. The next film is by Mike Vogel. We've had some Portland people ask about Mike Vogel, and hey, we have a Mike Vogel film. So, Portland, thank you for tuning in, and let's watch Mike Vogel.
I'm going to jump in with Manny on this one because I want to give an extra shout out to Mike Vogel. He is a local filmmaker and he also sits on the Film by Bike Advisory Board. We showed this film in our festival in 2019 and then we sent it on the road in our tour program. This is the most talked about film we've ever had in our tour program before, and it was not available online until very recently. So this is quite a treat to be able to see it tonight. Without further ado, thanks Mike Vogel for contributing to tonight's program, Flow Ride.
I'll never forget the day I made the decision to go on this incredible bike journey. I remember thinking, are you crazy? You're just gonna bike to this place most people find terrifying. The people who have been there never want to go back, and you're just gonna do it on a whim. And then I heard a voice. It didn't say, you can do this. It said, you have to do this. My dentist appointment was scheduled for the very next day at 8:30 in the morning, over 4 miles away. The voice I heard was my wife telling me she needed the car. I was going to have to get there by bike. Every journey is as unique as its destination, and the trek to my dentist was no different. Based on driving in a car, I knew the path included a busy street and not one, but 2 dangerous highways. Using advanced technological algorithms, I found a way to plot a more bike-friendly route. I only own 1 pair of spandex, and that wasn't going to work for this ride. I could bike in them fine, but they would cause problems when I got to the dentist. I decided to try something different. Instead of wearing spandex, I decided to wear my normal clothes. Clothes I would wear to the dentist anyway. I'd figured out my route, I'd figured out my clothes, but then that night, my daughter made a startling observation.
You know how it's gonna take you like 7 minutes by car?
Yeah, 7 minutes. No big deal.
If you ride your bike, it's gonna take you 17.
What I realized was that if I took a bike, I would be there 10 minutes late and they would cancel my appointment. It was a very low point for me. I thought I was going to have to cancel the entire trip. I would never know if I had cavities or if I had tartar buildup or if I had gum disease. I may have been ready to give up, but my daughter wasn't.
What if you just leave 10 minutes early?
I didn't know if her plan would work, but I was willing to try. As I set off, all I was thinking about was getting to the dentist on time. But as I biked, I found myself relaxed, enjoying the world around me. I couldn't believe it when I made it to the dentist, not only on time, but early. They took x-rays, scraped my teeth, and by the time it was all over, I received the verdict: no cavities. If someone had said to me a week ago, "You're gonna bike 4 miles each way to go to the dentist," I would have laughed at them. Like, why would I do that? Why don't I just drive? Now that I've done it, I realize that there are other places that aren't too far away that I can bike to. I could bike to the grocery store. I could bike to the coffee shop. I could bike to the library. Well, the library is close. I could just walk to that. I don't know why I'd bike. It would probably be harder when you have to lock it up and everything. But I could bike other places is what I'm saying. I had to push myself outside my comfort zone. But it made me realize there are so many places to bike to, and not all of them are as terrifying as the dentist.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to this. I hope you enjoyed it. I know we had a few technical difficulties, but you know what? This is the first time that Film by Bike or any bike festival has ever done this online. So that's kind of cool that you guys were part of this to see how it kind of panned out at the start. I'm sure with everything that's going on in the world, there's going to be more of this going on. And I bet Aileen and the Film by Bike crew will be happy to put more of these kind of events together, and I'll be happy to be a part of them as well. I want to thank everybody at Dirty Fingers and from our end, and Team Finger, my team, that's always backed me up in all our rides. And again, Thunder Island Brewing for the wonderful Pet Rock and the Moon Boot. And now we're going to open it up to you guys. Aileen's going to talk to Ben. Ben's back on the line, and we're going to talk to Ben, and we're going to talk to Aileen, and then we're going to see your comments on the live stream and see. I'm going to moderate a conversation. If you want to talk, I'll be typing and talking, and we can have a chat. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And thank you to Aileen for putting this on, because it's really important that one of my big things is building community and keeping people together. And I think right now where we all have to be apart is that we continue to be together and do what we can to build our community, even though we're doing it over computers. So be well, and I'll moderate this community.
Well, Manny, thanks so much for getting us through those great movies and telling us a little bit more about what we were seeing. It was so interesting to hear in the chat what people wanted to see more of. I love that people want to see a Mike Vogel night. He's been a prolific film by bike filmmaker, making movies that he knows are going to get our audience laughing. For me, as our curator, I really enjoyed digging into our archives because so many of our films just really hold up. They are great the year we show them, and they are great for years to come. So that was really exciting as well. So folks, definitely look forward to that. We love the idea of making the Global Bike Festival an annual event, a way to connect our global community. And we also like the idea of, as this global pandemic continues, as we are staying home and staying safe, if this continues much longer, we all know it's going to continue for a little while, but as it extends, we will be here for you as a way to entertain you and delight you through it. So we're definitely working on some upcoming programming. We appreciate you guys all being here tonight. Buying tickets made this event possible, so we really appreciate that. We subsidized the fees on that, and we allowed you guys to buy one ticket for the whole household, which is great, or however you did it. A huge number of people made donations on top of their ticket. We were seeing donations from more than half the ticket buyers. I was so impressed by that and really heartened by that. In addition, we added a game to the mix. We thought it'd be fun if we added a game, the Global Bike Fest game, a chance for you to spread the word about Film by Bike. So we want to announce the winners of that game. You may have heard us, you may have seen this name in the chat, and honestly, totally randomly, we're using a software platform that picked the winner, but randomly, Peter Kuntz. He's a Portland rider who loves to get out there and clock the miles, and he's been active in the chat tonight. So congratulations, Peter Kuntz. He is the winner of our random prize that we had going out there. And then also Ben Becker from Layton, Utah won the prize for the most number of shares, getting the word out there and gaining points. We want to send a shout out to Ortlieb, Kryptonite, Nutcase Helmets, Civilian donated some grips here in Portland, Civilian, as well as DZR shoes, and of course some great prizes from Film by Bike. So those prize packs will be going out shortly, and we'll be following up with the award winners for all of that. Thanks you guys for playing that little game we had to get the word out about this event. And now we're going to open things up to the chat. So we want to hear from you. Where do you live? What is cycling like right now? What are you going through? What is this time like for you? And we'll be reading those questions out. We've got Ben on the line and Manny, and we'll all just be moderating a little group conversation here for the next few minutes. It's been great to see what people are saying about all this, and everyone is saying congrats to Peter and Ben for winning the prize. And also someone's wondering if the Dennis movie is available for share. People do call it the Dennis movie. It is called Flow Ride on YouTube. We'll look up that link and share it. It just got posted to YouTube a few days ago. So up until then, it was only available at Film by Bike. And folks, just another great reason to support what Film by Bike does. A lot of these independent filmmakers do not make their work available elsewhere. So we're digging deep and finding the films that we find, and often they're movies you can't see elsewhere. So folks, tune in on the chat there. Let us know where you're from. We've seen some really active faces there. It's great to see Courtney Williams on the chat. She is from Brown Bike Girl, a consulting agency based out of New York, where she works on issues of equity and inclusion in the outdoor sphere with a focus on the bike realm as well. And Courtney is on the Film by Bike jury this year. She joined us here in Portland back in January when we had our Film by Bike jury, flew out from New York. So it was great to see you there, Courtney. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's awesome to have you there. And let's see, it looks like we've got Jamina calling in or chatting in from LA. She says things are great. There's not much traffic around town. And I would imagine for a city like LA, that must be so interesting to see a crowded city like that with less traffic. Have Ben and Manny, do you guys, Manny, did you used to live in LA? Oh, it looks like we're having some trouble with Manny's audio. Manny, we're having some trouble with your audio. Looks like it might be your internet connection. Could also be because the chat's going crazy.
I'm back.
Okay, you're back. We got you. Yeah. So did you used to live in LA?
I did live in LA. Yeah, it was, at the time it was not I have to say, like 10 years ago, it wasn't a great city for riding bikes in. I actually got hit by a car once. But I have a lot of friends that still live there and still ride. So yeah. I bet right now is a good time to get out and ride. less traffic on the road,
Yeah.
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 I did live in LA.
We've got Armando in the chat. He says that on biking errands, he's seeing many more families biking together here in Portland. Are either of you noticing that, Ben and Manny, more families on bikes? I've seen some kids riding alone, which has been really cool. Kids that are like just on the cusp of being able to do that, but you often don't see them riding alone. That's been really neat to see because the streets are so much safer right now.
Yeah. I've seen so many people out on bikes, and some of my friends that work in the shops have been making it clear that like people are coming in buying bikes and getting bikes. I've seen a lot of bikes that look like they've been hanging in the garages for years that are now out on the roads.
Yeah, that's the best. I've heard that anecdotally from so many people that people are pulling bikes out of the garage, dusting them off. A friend told me her neighbor went out and bought new bikes for the entire family. And they just knew that this was going to make them want to be outside. So I thought that was really neat to hear as well. Shout out to all the bike shops that are still in business. We know it's challenging times. Fortunately, many of you are considered essential services in your state or in your city. And big shout out to all the bike shops that are operating right now, because we know you are an essential service for so many people who are car free or who prefer to get around by bike. And especially for those who aren't comfortable riding crowded public transportation at the moment. It's great to have many options for getting around, and right now cycling is certainly an important part of that pie. Josh is up in Bellingham, Washington. He says lots of people out on the mountain bike trails. I know Julie Ty is out there. That's my sister. She says Chicago has many people riding now that don't usually bike. Well, definitely one of the upsides of quarantine. That's cool to see. And everyone is pretty much chiming in to say they're seeing more people riding. I think that's great. Well, folks, so in the chat, let us know a little bit more about where you're from and tell us some things that you are doing to get through this challenging time. I know that everybody has their own self-care strategies, and tonight's event is definitely part of that. We wanted to be able to provide a moment where you could sit back, relax, pop some popcorn, and just kind of focus on some entertainment for the night. And that was really our goal for tonight, is give you a little respite from everything that's going on. So we're hearing from some people saying that the streets in Portland are safer than the paths right now because of there being fewer cars. I love seeing that. That tends to be a real, a constant theme here, that people are saying fewer people on the road is making it easier to do what we do. So that's great to see. It looks like some people are saying that they're wondering, Courtney's wondering if people are out there riding with a mask on. I know that's something that's certainly come up a little bit more immediately, with the CDC recommending that every time we go outside, we should be covering our faces with some sort of a face covering. Chime in on the chat if you guys are riding along with masks. Oh, we have Ben back. That's great. Okay. Manny and Ben, what are some other things you guys are seeing where you guys are, of what people are doing to stay safe and kind of how life has changed a little bit? Oh, we lost your audio again, Manny. That's weird. Okay. And we've got Ben. Ben, we've got you.
It's
oh, there we go.
Come down to like all the trails are closed here. So, for us, it's like our mountain biking is done. We're just relegated to road riding, which is fine. We can do that. We're just hanging out and trying to be, living with our families and spending time. We can't hang out together, which is a big part. Aileen, you've been to Hood River. You've been to a lot of the events that we host here.
I love it out there.
It's very community based, but we can't do that right now. So right now we're we're riding our trainers and riding our rollers and going and doing the roads that are still open on our road bikes. That's what we're doing, which is fine. That's like, we have to do our part to curb all of this, right? So that's fine. That's what we're doing. And it was a really good thing that we did tonight with this event to bring people together around the world to say that cyclists are standing together. And I really appreciate what Film by Bike does for filmmakers as well. Just give us a platform to still show our films and put things out there. So I appreciate that, Aileen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being involved. And Ben, I'd love to hear a little bit more from you. You know, as we, when we parted ways earlier in the program, you were talking a lot about how you don't necessarily need to go far to find connections in the world around you. And I think this is a great example of a time where that's more important than ever. I'd love to hear a little bit more of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, when I came back from one of my last longer trips, like I just realized that all the wisdom that's in like the really exotic places like the national parks or the far away, you know, at the tops of mountains, or the trees that live in those spaces, the rivers that are in those spaces. Like I live 2 blocks from the Mississippi River, so like the water, the wisdom that's in the water in the wild, crazy rivers that everyone thinks of is still in the water that's in the Mississippi 2 blocks from my house, and the same with the trees. So I think like I was saying earlier about like riding around on loading docks and weird banks behind industrial buildings and stuff with my kids, like today we were doing that, and I was just thinking about like, you know, we've come from such a long stretch of time where we're just like obsessed with creating meaning or creating something bigger and better than what's already here. And right now, like the truth about the world is that all the meaning and all the magic is already here anyway. So like we've just been highly distracted from that with the way that life was going for such a long time. But now like we have no choice but to kind of look at the meaning that's already here. So that's kind of my most favorite way to like engage with a space or with my life anyway. So I feel like now is I have a lot of moments where I'm kind of going around going like, wow, I've been like writing songs about this stuff and thinking about this stuff for a long time, and now my life in a sense, and I'm aware of all my privilege, so I'm not really necessarily talking about that, just in terms of my habits. Like I spend a lot of time alone. I spend a lot of time outside. I spend a lot of time kind of figuring out how to make something out of nothing and how to get through with things. And I'm not finding a whole lot of I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got off the phone because I went and got a poem. I will just be really honest. Like I do think that it's great that everyone's coming together online and stuff, but I think my role as an artist has always been to like go to the edge a little bit and like push people. And I think that while there's like a real desire to connect, I do think that we were being afforded an opportunity to like really think differently right now and to really make some changes. And I noticed that a lot of times when culture tries to change, it ends up just repeating itself. It's kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing. And a lot of that is because of capitalism. And I think that right now it's just a really interesting time to just, you know, I don't know, kind of go dark a little bit. So I went and got a poem because I'm finding it very hard to like find clear thoughts when I'm speaking into my phone. So whenever like you're kind of ready to wrap it up, I thought I would read a poem to everyone, because that's kind of part of my deal anyways. I always read a poem when I play a show.
I love that idea. Before we get to that, Manny, any last minute thoughts from you? Manny, can you hear us? I think Manny might.
Yeah.
Be. Okay. Any last minute thoughts from you, Manny?
I think this was a great event. I think it was cool to see. I mean, it's hard for me. Like usually I'm used to filming or making a film and then looking at this in real time, these comments. That was really a weird experience for me. I've never done that. So it was cool to do that. But I think, Aileen, you've heard my thing before. I'm a member of Team Finger and Dirty Fingers. Like, they always call me the team preacher because I'm always talking about community, building community, building community. That's the most important thing to me, is building community, and I think we've done that tonight. And that's what we've been able to do. Then I hope people enjoyed seeing these films and hearing what they could have been's music, and then just building that community. Like, that's the most important thing, especially when we're all isolated. So like, that's what I wanted to happen tonight. That's why I'm here. When you asked me to be a part of it. So please, guys, if you can, everyone watching this, continue to build the community through whatever you can, sending out Netflix recommendations to your friends, or maybe having some beer delivered to your friends from your favorite local brewery, or whatever you can do. I think building community is the most important thing we can do, because we're missing that right now. We're missing being around our friends. That's what's, I think, is important at this time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm going to thank you so much for joining us tonight, Manny, and thank you, Ben. I'm going to say a few parting words, and then, Ben, I'm going to turn things over to you, and we'll go out on your poem, and that'll be the note that we end on tonight.
Cool.
Yeah, so thank you, everyone, for joining us here tonight for the first ever Global Bike Film Festival. This is a time for innovation when the world throws us crazy twists and turns. As a species, as a culture, we learn what we should do next, and we learn it along the way. We evolve, we innovate. And here at Film by Bike, we knew that when we weren't going to have our film festival here in Portland in May, we knew it was an opportunity to try something new and try something different, and that's why we put tonight's event together. I want to send a big shout out to Clever Hood. They are the supporters of our tour festival, and they've been really great in helping make a lot of magic happen at Film by Bike. So thank you, Clever Hood, for being involved in that. Film by Bike was slated to send our movie collections to about 60 cities all throughout the world as a way to strengthen bike communities and bring people together to appreciate this incredible work from our global community of filmmakers. Many of those shows have been postponed, but we are still opening up our calendar to add more in as soon as it's safe for people to gather again. So if you liked what you saw tonight and you'd like to bring Film by Bike to your community where you live and ride, we would love to have you. You can see our website at filmbybike.org for all the information on how to bring Film by Bike to where you live and ride. And of course, we would love to have you here in Portland for the signature film festival weekend. We are going on year 18, which is very exciting. This is a labor of love, an artistic dream come true, and a great community of people worldwide who have a shared passion for bikes. We'll be following up with all of you later. You have our website and email, and we definitely want to hear from you what you thought of tonight's event so that we can learn from this and learn what we need to do next to entertain you and help you feel comforted in this challenging time. Big thanks again to Manny Marquez for joining us here tonight and moderating the films, as well as Ben Weaver for performing for us earlier. Thanks for all of you for believing in what we're doing, buying tickets, and joining us here tonight for this experiment in how to build community online and an opportunity to share some of my favorite things, which is talking with other folks, sharing bike culture, and watching incredible bike movies. So we're going to go out tonight with a poem from Ben Weaver. I'll turn it over to you now. Thank you so much, Ben.
Thanks for having me. This is a poem called Rain on the Seeds. I'm a letterpress printer and do a quarterly poetry subscription called Bike Wilder Poetry CSA. So this is one of the recent poems. Which stone will be first? When things come apart, which river will sweep up the dragonfly's invisible heart? Which caterpillar will become which butterfly? And what will the weasel with the wind at the tip of their tongue dream before dumping out a basket full of diamonds into the morning, their red cheek streaked with lightning mud and claw marks? What will that one damn dog who unraveled everything think while overhearing the humans laughing on the porch, carrying joy out among the grasses? What will finally lead the divided to find wasps in the wood sorrel, experiencing with awe the bees who draw bouquets of flowers below the skyscrapers, distributing pollen through these perilous times? Who will set right the discrepancies between what was written and what has been lived? Haven't we always felt the things we are made of? Haven't the things we are made of always felt us? How could any one piece be separated when there is only braided mutual metabolisms? How could any one piece be separated when there is only woven and constant transformation? How could any one piece be separated when there is only entwined relationship? When there is no alone, how could there be anything other than alive? Thanks all.